Are you ready for the future? Check out the South Carolina Technical College system coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're on the main campus of Florence Darlington Technical College. We're focused on the South Carolina Technical College system and we're visiting with Dr. Jimmie Williamson, the president of Williamsburg Technical College. Good morning, Dr. Williamson.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Incredible opportunity all week to highlight so many fantastic institutions within our viewing area. Obviously focused on Williamsburg Technical College today, and having Dan Gray following you, kicking off the week with Dr. Hudgens, and so many of the schools here in the area that make such a dramatic impact and are so responsive to the needs of their community. It's amazing.
Right, and that's what we pride ourselves on. Our system is very responsive. We're founded on the just-in-time principle, you know, and as a new industry comes in, we're there ready to supply the workforce needs that they might have, and to work with expanding industry, and then to meet other educational needs as well.
True. Dr. Williamson, do you mind if we call you Jimmie?
Please.
Okay,
Please
great. Jimmie, are you originally from the area?
Yes, I grew up in the PD, grew up in Hartsville, Darlington County native, and have spent my career all over South Carolina, but came back to the PD in the late 80s, and entered the technical college system in '89. One of the best career moves I ever made.
I can see that. Wrapping up the week, it must be truly exciting. And
yeah.
So you've been at other locations prior to arriving at Williamsburg?
I have. I actually did 5 years here at Florence Darlington, and then was 2 years at Central Carolina, and then in '96 went to King Street to be the Dean of Instruction at Williamsburg Tech. And set of circumstances there, I was in the right place at the right time, and they needed a president, so here I am today.
That's wonderful. How long have you been the president there?
Since '97.
Spectacular.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
What's that like to be a college president?
Well, it's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had. You know, I really thought I would look at the college president and think, you know, that's a pretty neat job, and I never saw all the pressure and the stress and those kinds of things that go with it. But I do enjoy the people and being the motivator and being the person who really is behind the team, you know, making sure that we're being responsive to the community's needs. It's a tremendous job, and I really love what I do.
You know, I didn't even think of that when Neil Wilson was on Wednesday and Charlie Gould yesterday. I didn't even think to ask him, what is that like being a president? We're so focused on so much of what you said, what you kicked off, responsiveness, and really filling the needs of the community. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about Williamsburg Technical College? Obviously, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD. You hit a great home, Hartsville there, serving that area as well as the Strand and southeastern North Carolina.
Right.
But can you give the viewers a sense of Williamsburg Technical College?
Sure. As most of the viewers are aware, Williamsburg County is sort of the barrier or the entrance into the low country, if you will. You know, the terrain actually changes as you drive down Highway 52 through lower Florence County. Williamsburg Tech is the smallest of the 16 technical colleges. We have about 650 students. We serve a single county. One of the things that many of the viewers might not be aware of is that there are only 3 technical colleges in the system who serve a single county. Williamsburg is one of those 3. The other 2 are Aiken and Greenville. The other technical colleges serve multiple counties, hence the name Florence Darlington and Central Carolina and places like that. So we have a very small, very rural, and very defined service area. There are about 35 to 40,000 people in greater Williamsburg County, about 4,000 people in King Street, and we try very hard to cover one of the largest counties in the state. We're the 5th largest county in terms of land mass. And so the joke there is that there is an acre for every resident, and we're all looking for our acre.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. When you think about, when you mentioned Greenville, obviously it's a huge county, and that must be a very large technical college.
Right.
And then you've got geographically a huge county, the fifth largest, you said, in the state, but population-wise relatively small.
Absolutely.
To serve that single county. So that's a big difference.
It is. And socioeconomically, of course, there are huge differences between Greenville County and Williamsburg County. And so, my colleagues there, when I talk about the challenges of serving a single county and having one tax base and things of that nature, they remind me that they serve one county and have one tax base, but I always point out that it's Greenville as opposed to Williamsburg.
Right. Jimmy, earlier, all week we've asked the mission for either Northeastern or Central Carolina or Georgetown or Florence Darlington. When you think, has the mission changed since the college was founded? And when was Williamsburg Tech founded?
We were founded in 1969.
Okay.
The building that we occupy was built in 71. All of our technical colleges started out as the joke is, there was a trailer and a pine tree, and we all started out in that format. Our mission has not changed drastically. The technical college system has expanded as the workforce needs have expanded. We've moved into college transfer, which is very much needed in this day and age, in a state where higher education is so important, and the rate of people going to college is far less than what we would like for it to be. We need to provide every opportunity for every resident of the state, if they desire higher education, to go on and to be able to participate in higher ed. So that college transfer component, in addition to the workforce component.
And that is something, are you able to get out within the community, Jimmy? You talked about the county having 35 to 40,000 folks. Are you able to get out and espouse just that opportunity to be able to partake in a college?
Yes, that's 50% of my job. 50% internal, 50% external. And I believe strongly in making sure that the community knows what Williamsburg Tech is about, and either fortunately or unfortunately, when I'm out in the community, I'm representing the college 24 hours a day, and people look to me as the leadership of the college. So it's very important that I be involved in the community.
Can we talk about the programs at Williamsburg Technical College?
The largest program for us would have to be our college transfer and our general business. We don't live in a heavily industrialized area. We do have some industrial trades and technical programs. We offer machine tool, industrial mechanics. We offer some of the lighter vocational kinds of things too, as well. We offer cosmetology. We are getting into, very slowly, some of the allied health areas. There's such a need in the state and nationally for trained healthcare workers, and that's an area that we're focusing on. We're really trying to move in that direction. Creation of an LPN program will be a big step in that direction for us, and we're putting all that together right now.
Jimmy, when you think about the student population, does it fluctuate pretty dramatically each year, or
it stays pretty much the same? We are reflective demographically of our service area. We're about 60% minority. The average Williamsburg Tech student happens to be female, about 28 years old, either mid-career or maybe she's been laid off. Maybe her job has moved offshore with NAFTA or some of the other incentive programs that were offered. Possibly a single parent, generally minority, and coming back to retool and re-equip to go back into the workforce as quickly as possible.
When you think about the impact of technical colleges, obviously you've experienced, having been in the system here at Florence Darlington Tech and at Central, when you think of the impact of Williamsburg Tech on Williamsburg County, as you said, the focus is almost exclusively on that county.
Right.
Obviously, you probably even pull some folks in from adjacent counties or other areas. When you think about the impact on the economic force there in the county, what would you say is the major impact?
Well, interestingly enough, we just had an economic impact study completed for the college. We were curious about this enterprise known as Williamsburg Technical College and what kind of impact this really had on our community. And using some modeling that really was perfected by the Strom Thurmond Institute at Clemson, we were able to determine with reasonable certainty that we have an impact of about $51 million on Williamsburg County's economy. Those are direct expenditures. That is the multiplier effect. You know, if you educate a person and that person goes out and has a job and spends dollars in the economy, that's the dynamic attraction impact, which means that many of the industries that are located there cite Williamsburg Tech as being one of the reasons that they located in Williamsburg County. So when you look at all those factors and you put all that into that very complicated equation, $51 million is quite an impact.
Absolutely.
In a county like Williamsburg County.
That is huge.
It really is.
That truly is. That is huge. And when you think about, even though obviously the economic impact, just the opportunity to be able to provide that economic engine at some level for the companies there. How many folks, the companies that have set up partnerships with the college, how has that worked, and how did they set up the original partnerships?
Well, it's worked beautifully, we try to be proactive and go to those industries, either manufacturing or service industries, and find out what their needs are. And they'll let us know what they're planning to do. Maybe in their long range plan, they need to take a group of workers and maybe have them cross trained or something. We have worked with companies like Firestone, Tupperware, Client Logic, just to name a few of the ones that we've designed very specific training programs for their workers. There's this wonderful program that I'm sure some of my colleagues have referred to. It is called the Incumbent Worker Program. It's a program that came out of the governor's office, and it gives existing industry and businesses a pool of money that they can use for training. And that has been a godsend for some of our industries. They've been able to cross-train people and use dollars that didn't have to come out of their operating account, if you will, to take advantage of some of the opportunities that we have at the college.
That's fantastic. When you think so much, earlier in the week, I think Tom Mazer, who's the treasurer of the Horry Georgetown Tech College Foundation Board, was talking about, since the lotteries had such an impact on the tuition funds, much of the foundation's goals now are going out recruiting funds for physical plants or for other facilities. Do you find that to be the same case in Williamsburg?
Yes. The thrust of our foundation is really on capital improvements. We are not typically given a steady stream of dollars to be used for technology upgrade and technology enhancement. And so we have to raise those dollars privately. And the industries are responsive. You know, we're a very young foundation and have just launched a major gifts campaign. We're in the major throes of that right now. We've completed the employee division. I'm happy to report that 100% of our full-time employees gave to this cause.
Wow.
We thought that was incredible. And that sends quite a message to your potential donor when you say, look, the people who work at Williamsburg Tech believed so strongly in this that they gave of their own paycheck to make sure that these kinds of things happened. That's incredible.
Absolutely. That is. And that's probably a great testament to you, Jimmie, having been the leader along with so many folks within the administration, but recognizing that starts from the top down and starts from the bottom up in so many ways, both ways.
We have a tremendous group of faculty and staff, very dedicated, very loyal.
How does, when you think about the campus in particular, for a viewer who may not have visited Williamsburg Tech, can you just give us a sense, a quick walking tour? We just have a couple of minutes.
Sure. We're very small, as we mentioned. We're 3 buildings. located right on Highway 377, right behind Williamsburg Regional Hospital. It's interesting how that area has sort of grown up, and we've all of the we're next door to the high school, across the street's the Employment Security Commission, so we're all service-oriented industries, if you will, right there on 377.
Right. And easy to find.
Easy to find, very easy to find.
Can you think of the most important service the college has had on the community?
Well, I believe strongly that South Carolina's economy is only as strong as its weakest link. And so we've been able to raise that weakest link. You know, Williamsburg County has suffered historically with high unemployment. And we've been able to make some dents in that and to show some progress. And so I think that that's been one of our most significant contributions.
And that is a spectacular contribution. If you think about the biggest priority for Williamsburg Tech going forward, how would you characterize that?
Oh, maintaining the jobs that we have and working hand in hand with economic development to make sure that potential businesses and industries look at our area as an opportunity for relocation.
Yes. Jim, lastly, if you weren't currently the president of Williamsburg Technical College, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, I have no idea. Right. My entire career has been in education, higher education, and I just love it so much. There would be some niche in higher ed for me, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Like Neil Wilson and Dr. Charlie Gould, Dr. Williamson, Jimmy, as he likes to be known, would be back in the classroom. Jimmy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Dan Gray coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're on the main campus of Florence Darlington Technical College. We're focused on the South Carolina Technical College system, and we're visiting with Mr. Dan Gray, the president of the Gray Companies and a board member for the South Carolina State Board for Technical and Comprehensive Education. Good morning, Dan.
Morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for being in to help wrap up the week. To think we're on Friday and just having spent the morning with Jimmie Williamson from Williamsburg, an exciting week.
Yeah.
So I couldn't think of anyone better, the man who actually came up with the idea to put together the week to highlight so many of the schools. And unfortunately, we only serve 5 schools within our viewing area. It'd be great if we could do something to highlight all 16 of the schools statewide. I've learned so much this week.
Well, there's a lot to learn about our state tech college system, and we're certainly appreciative. I'm sure I speak for the entire system of what you guys are doing at Channel 43. We really appreciate it, and we're ready to come back at any time to feature any of our colleges or the state board.
Well, great. I tell you, with all 5 of them this week, I've learned so much. You'd want to travel to Williamsburg or to Cheraw or to Sumter, or obviously back here to Florence Darlington, or surely make that short trip over to Horry Georgetown. Just an amazing facility and all the institutions. Very exciting. Can we talk real quick about yourself, Dan? Are you originally from the area?
Yes, I'm a native of Myrtle Beach, and my family roots go back to pre-Revolutionary War times in Horry County. So I'm a native many times over.
You still have family in the area, do you?
Oh, yes. Big extended family.
All spread out. And your business interests are still centered in the area?
Yes. With my son Wayne and other members of our family, we have the Springhouse Restaurants in Myrtle Beach, a little plug, and River Oaks Golf Plantation and other business interests.
Right. When did you become a member of the South Carolina State Board for Technical and Comprehensive Education?
I'm finishing up my 2nd year, and I came on board after having been involved with the Workforce Investment Board in the state for some 10 years. And I thoroughly enjoyed, I was asked to serve by the governor's office and by the congressional delegation from the 1st Congressional District.
Mm-hmm. So you had both a Democratic governor and a Republican congressman who made that effort to bring you on board.
You made that connection, yes.
That's a great sign, Dan. I mean, that's a great testament to the fact this is not necessarily a political board. It's a very active board to grow the accessibility, and that's wonderful.
There are no partisan issues in trying to educate the young people of our state, and with particular emphasis on workforce development and economic development.
You know, one of the great things I've learned this week, you said young people,
yes.
and that's obviously what I'd always thought, but there's so many folks of all ages, Dan. It's amazing.
Well, that's another feature about our state tech college system. Actually, our average age is in the range of just below 30. And so we have a lot of people who maybe didn't make all the right choices when they were young, and they've gotten married and gotten in the workforce and realized that they need to upgrade their skills and educational level, and we're the best alternative for them in terms of accessibility and affordability.
Dan, you have such an incredible track record with service on civic committees and commissions. Has this experience guided you in your work on the state board?
Yeah, I think everybody needs a passion for something in their life that's outside the normal course of things. We all work and we all have families, but I learned from my father, I'm proud to say, that you need to be involved in the community and to do things for the community that you don't get anything back for except just the pleasure of. And so I've had a number of roles that you've mentioned, and the one that I'm most passionate about these days and times is the state technical education system.
Mm. You obviously had previous service, Dan, on the state board for, is it job training?
Well, my father was the first chair of Horry Georgetown Technical College. He was chair from 60 to 68. Mm. And I was an instructor at night there, their first year in 1966. But I've been a student there, and when I had other operating businesses, we sent our folks there for training. We've had what's now called the Center for Accelerated Training, Technology Training. We've had students in that. So I've had a number of roles in and around the state tech system.
Mm. And can we talk real quick, and it's amazing to think about those roles, but the focus obviously all week has been on education and technical education here in the state. How about the roles that the colleges play throughout the state? Can you think of the primary role, as you've heard all week, you've heard folks from these 5 colleges talk about their roles in their individual communities. Can you think there's a primary role served throughout the state? I guess it goes back to the original mission of the college system.
Well, not everybody is ready, or not everybody can afford to go to a 4-year institution. And so our state tech system with its diploma programs and certificate programs and other programs is the best alternative for many of our students, and they would not have an opportunity to be involved in higher education were it not for our tech system. We need a way to provide a trained workforce, and we need a way to provide training for our young people and people already in the workforce to upgrade their skills. That's what we do at the state tech system.
You truly do. As a board member, what do you see as the highest priorities for technical education, whether it's currently or going forward?
Well, our number one issue right now is funding. And so we at the state level spend a lot of time working with the legislature and working with our colleges to make sure that we do have adequate funding, whether it be from lottery tuition assistance or direct assistance from the state, as well as through our foundations. We solicit business and industry to help us with non-public money. So I think funding to keep our system going, we serve 90-some thousand students. Over half of the students in higher education in South Carolina are enrolled in our colleges. So I think our main job as board members is to make sure that we continue to provide that to our students and our citizens.
That is amazing to think about it, Dan. As you said, 90,000, and when you think about over half of the students in higher education throughout the state are within the 16 technical college system here.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. I think it's a well-kept secret, if you will, that we have so much involvement and are so pervasive in our communities. We don't have the stature, if you will, of the graduates of the 4-year institutions and the research universities. I myself am a Clemson graduate, and but my passion now is to help get the message out about what a great job our state tech colleges are doing.
Well, a lot of your compatriots have been doing that all week.
Yes.
It's been amazing to hear that. How about changes, Dan? Can you talk real quick? We've got a couple of minutes. The changes you foresee within the technical college system going forward.
I think that would mirror some enlightenment that I received just yesterday. We had a State Tech Board meeting at Piedmont Tech in Greenwood, and we were guests of the Greenwood Genetics Center there and a new biotech center that's being established in association with that. And we talked about NAFTA and so forth. The heavy industrial jobs, not just in South Carolina, but all over the country, are leaving. And so we have to train a workforce for much higher levels of involvement that involve skills and knowledge and information. And so it's not that there aren't places for welding. I have a background in metalworking myself. But we need to work with engineering technology and biological issues. We have a major pharmaceutical plant right here in Florence. So I think the change is there as we morph from strictly industrial jobs to a higher level of work.
And you've been a parent for a long time. You've got family all around. If you were a parent now with a college-bound student or someone who was thinking about going back to school, how would you talk to them, or what would you think you'd stress as the focus or the benefits of the technical college system here in the state?
It's interesting. I was talking to the proprietor of the soccer locker in Myrtle Beach just this past weekend, and he has two boys, one at Clemson and one at Horry Georgetown Tech. The one at Horry Georgetown Tech is in the forestry program, which is connected to Clemson, and that's true in many of our technical colleges. And each boy is different. Each of his sons is different. Each of our children are different. And tech schools provide an alternative to many of our students who just aren't prepared to go to four-year schools. It's a good place to get ready for a four-year degree. For someone who's not yet ready, it's a good place to exit a two-year program or some other program. For most of our jobs nowadays don't require a four-year degree, and we fill that alternative.
You heard Dan Gray say it earlier. He was inspired by his father, who gave him the idea of giving back to the community, not for anything except for just the pleasure. A man who helped kick off this week and who's ending the week with us. Dan Gray, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank President Jimmie Williamson and Dan Gray for making today's Carolina People such a great success.